Hello everyone, welcome to Gone Legends, a sanctuary where we honor the memories of the extraordinary souls who've left us. I'm deeply grateful you've joined me in this quiet moment of remembrance and love. Please take a deep breath with me, and hold on to the warmth of their legacies. If you find comfort or inspiration here, please like, subscribe, and share this video. It helps us continue honoring these memories. And I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Leave your location in the comments below so we can connect across miles, united in remembrance. Now, if you're ready, may I proceed with the first tribute section? Ladies and gentlemen, today we begin by remembering a true legend of American country music, Marilyn Jeannie Seely. Born on July 6, 1940, in Titusville, Pennsylvania, Jeannie grew up with a love of music that shaped not only her life but also the lives of millions of listeners who came to adore her voice, her presence, and her soul. She was a singer, a songwriter, and an actress. But more than that, she was a guiding star for countless aspiring musicians and an inspiration for anyone who ever felt the healing power of country music. Jeannie Seely left this world on August 1, 2025, at the age of 85. She passed away peacefully in Nashville, Tennessee, the city she called home for most of her career. Her cause of death, as reported, was natural causes related to age, and her passing marked the end of a beautiful, decades-long story of music, resilience, and love for the stage. She was laid to rest in Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Nashville, where so many other country legends have also been buried. From now on, August 1st will forever be remembered as the anniversary of her passing. Each year, her fans and loved ones will look back on that date not only with sadness, but also with gratitude for the gifts she gave. The early spark. Jeannie grew up in a small town, where life was simple and music was a daily companion. As a little girl, she was drawn to the sounds of the radio, the hymns, the early country hits, and the heartfelt ballads that spoke to everyday struggles and triumphs. By the time she was just a teenager, her talent was obvious. Her voice had a richness, a unique blend of power and vulnerability that set her apart. She pursued that passion with unshakable determination, eventually moving to California in the early 1960s. There, she found opportunities not only to sing but also to write songs. Songwriting became one of her greatest tools, a way to tell stories, to heal pain, and to share pieces of her own heart with the world. Breaking through in Nashville. Jeannie's true breakthrough came when she moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the beating heart of country music. Nashville in the mid-1960s was overflowing with talent, but Jeannie managed to carve her place with a mixture of undeniable talent and relentless dedication. In 1966, she released her first big hit, Don't Touch Me, a song that would change her life forever. Don't Touch Me wasn't just another country single, it was a masterpiece of emotion. The song earned her the Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance in 1967, making her one of the few women of her era to achieve that honor. It established her as a force to be reckoned with and placed her squarely on the map of country music history. That song alone would have secured her legacy, but Jeannie's career was just getting started. She went on to record numerous albums and chart more than 24 singles, including fan favorites like It's Only Love, Can I Sleep in Your Arms, and Lucky Ladies. Each song carried her trademark voice, warm, emotional, and always authentic. A trailblazer for women in country music. But Jeannie Seely's story wasn't just about her own success. She was a trailblazer, someone who opened doors for women in country music during a time when the industry was dominated by men. She became a regular performer at the Grand Ole Opry, one of the most prestigious stages in all of country music. And Jeannie didn't just perform, she made history there. She was one of the first women to wear pants on the Opry stage, challenging long-standing traditions and showing that women could define their own image, their own identity. It wasn't just a fashion choice. It was a statement of independence, confidence, and authenticity. Jeannie Seely showed that women could take control of their careers, their art, and their lives. She paved the way for so many female artists who followed in her footsteps. A lifetime of music and friendship. Over the years, Jeannie collaborated with some of the biggest names in country music. She toured with legends like Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, and Ernest Tubb. She shared duets with Jack Green and others, bringing audiences unforgettable performances that captured the spirit of country music at its finest. Yet beyond the fame, Jeannie was known for her kindness, her sense of humor, and her ability to make people feel at home in her presence. Her fellow musicians often described her as down-to-earth, someone who never let the spotlight change who she was at her core. She also gave back to the community, supporting charities, mentoring younger artists, and always reminding people that music is meant to connect hearts, not just to entertain. Later years and continued influence. Even as the decades passed, Jeannie never truly slowed down. Into her 70s and 80s, she was still performing, still recording, still standing tall on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. She released her album, Written in Song, in 2017, featuring songs she had written that were previously recorded by other artists. This album reminded the world that Jeannie was not only a great singer but also a gifted songwriter whose words had shaped the genre for years. Her resilience was extraordinary. Few artists remain active for as long as Jeannie did, and even fewer remain as beloved. She became affectionately known as Miss Country Soul, a nickname that perfectly captured the heart she poured into every note. The final goodbye. On August 1, 2025, the music world lost Jeannie Seely. She passed away peacefully in her home in Nashville, surrounded by love and memories of a lifetime dedicated to music. At 85 years old, she left behind a legacy that spans nearly 6 decades of music, awards, and inspiration. Her funeral was attended by family, close friends, and fellow musicians. The city of Nashville mourned her deeply, but it also celebrated her life, remembering the joy, the songs, and the courage she gave to so many. She was laid to rest at Woodlawn Memorial Park Cemetery, joining other icons of country music. Legacy and remembrance. Jeannie Seely's legacy is not just about her records or awards, it's about the people she touched. She gave a voice to emotions that many people struggle to express. She stood up for herself and for women in country music. And she never stopped giving her heart to the stage, right up until the end. From now on, August 1st will be a day of remembrance. Each year, fans, family, and fellow artists will honor her memory by playing her songs, by revisiting her performances, and by remembering the woman who dared to be herself in an industry that often tried to shape people into something else. As we reflect on her life, we see a woman who proved that authenticity, courage, and heart can create not just a career, but a legacy. She will always be remembered as the Grammy-winning voice behind Don't Touch Me, as the trailblazer who stood proudly on the Opry stage, and as the friend and mentor who lifted others up with her kindness. Jeannie Seely is gone from this world, but her music, her spirit, and her influence will live forever. Today, we turn our attention to the world of hard rock, and to a man whose gritty voice and raw energy helped define a band beloved by fans of American rock music. His name was David Roach, born in 1960, and sadly departed on August 1, 2025, at the age of 65. David Roach was best known as the lead vocalist of the Los Angeles hard rock band Junkyard, a group that rose to prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s. His unmistakable voice, gravelly yet soulful, captured the spirit of an era where rock was rebellious, untamed, and deeply connected to the struggles and stories of everyday life. David died on August 1, 2025, in Austin, Texas. His passing was confirmed by close friends and former bandmates, and though details of the exact cause of death were not publicly disclosed, it was noted that he had been battling health challenges in the years leading up to his death. His age was just 65. A reminder of how fragile life is, even for the voices we imagine to be immortal. He was laid to rest at Texas State Cemetery in Austin, a final resting place befitting a man who carried the spirit of American rock through his music. From now on, August 1st will be remembered each year as the anniversary of his passing. Early years and the call of music. David was born in 1960 in Texas, a state with deep roots in country, blues, and rock music. Growing up, he was surrounded by sounds that would later influence his own career. From the Southern blues that spilled from roadside bars to the classic rock records of the 1970s, young David absorbed it all. By his teenage years, it was clear that music wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a calling. He gravitated toward singing, discovering that his voice had a natural edge to it, a raspy tone that perfectly fit the emerging hard rock sound of the 1980s. The formation of Junkyard. In the mid-1980s, David Roach made the bold move to Los Angeles, where the rock scene was exploding. Sunset Strip clubs were alive with heavy metal, glam rock, and punk-infused sounds. It was in this fiery environment that Junkyard was formed in 1987. The band combined the raw grit of punk with the swagger of southern rock and the volume of hard rock. David Roach became its frontman, the voice that gave the band its identity. His delivery was raw, emotional, and filled with authenticity. Unlike polished, studio-perfect singers, David's voice felt lived in. It carried the weight of late nights, real struggles, and raw emotion. Fans connected with that honesty. Breakthrough and albums. Junkyard quickly signed with Geffen Records, a major achievement that propelled them into the national spotlight. In 1989, they released their self-titled debut album, Junkyard. Songs like Hollywood and Simple Man showcased David's vocal strength and the band's unique mix of influences. The follow-up album, Sixes, Sevens and Nines, 1991, solidified their reputation. While the era was dominated by polished glam metal bands, Junkyard stood out with a dirtier, more authentic sound. David Roach wasn't trying to be glamorous, he was real. That authenticity spoke to a devoted fan base, even as musical trends shifted in the early 1990s. Though the band never achieved the massive mainstream success of some of their contemporaries, they earned something far more lasting, a loyal cult following that cherished their music for its honesty and grit. The heart of a frontman. David Roach wasn't just the singer of Junkyard, he was its heart. His performances were magnetic, filled with energy and emotion. Whether he was in front of thousands or just a small club, he gave his all every single night. Fans recall his down-to-earth nature. He was approachable, never letting fame get in the way of being real with people. He had the rare ability to make listeners feel like he was singing directly to them, as though every lyric came from a shared experience. Later years and continued performances. Even after Junkyard's commercial peak, David never gave up on music. The band reunited multiple times over the years, releasing new material and touring with a refreshed sense of purpose. Their later releases, like the 2017 album, High Water, proved that David's voice and passion remained as fierce as ever. Outside of the spotlight, he lived a quieter life in Austin, Texas, where he stayed connected to both music and the community. Austin, with its rich culture of live music, felt like the perfect home for a man whose soul was tied to the stage. The final goodbye. On August 1, 2025, fans of Junkyard and the wider rock community were stunned by the news of David Roach's death. At just 65 years old, he was gone too soon. His bandmates paid tribute, sharing memories of his humor, his voice, and his unshakable presence as a frontman. He was laid to rest in Texas State Cemetery in Austin, surrounded by the land he loved and the city that had embraced him in his later years. The site of his burial has already become a place of pilgrimage for fans who want to leave flowers, letters, or simply stand in silence, remembering the man who gave so much of himself through his music. Legacy and remembrance. David Roach may not have been a household name to everyone, but to his fans, he was a legend. He represented the side of rock and roll that was unfiltered, authentic, and true. His legacy is found not only in the records he made, but in the countless lives he touched with his voice. Every year, August 1st will be a solemn reminder of his passing, but it will also be a chance to celebrate what he stood for: passion, authenticity, and the power of music to connect people. When fans listen to songs like Hollywood, they don't just hear a track from the late 80s, they hear David's spirit, raw and unapologetic. They hear the story of a man who lived for the stage, who gave his soul to his art, and who will forever be remembered in the echo of every lyric he sang. Today, we close with a tribute to a man who lived his life not in the spotlight, but behind it, shaping stages, producing unforgettable performances, and giving audiences the chance to witness magic come alive. His name was Jack W. Batman born in 1958 and remembered as an award-winning American theater producer whose influence reached far beyond Broadway's bright lights. Jack W. Batman passed away on August 1, 2025, at the age of 67. He died in New York City, New York, the very city that had been his creative home for decades. His death was reported to be the result of complications from a brief illness. He was laid to rest at Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, a resting place known for housing artists and visionaries of all kinds. From now on, August 1st will mark the anniversary of his passing, a date on which the theater community will pause, reflect, and remember one of its guiding figures. A life rooted in theater. Jack was born in 1958 and grew up with a passion for the arts. Even as a child, he was drawn to storytelling, the way words, music, and movement could weave together to create an emotional experience. Unlike many who longed for the spotlight, Jack was fascinated by what happened behind the curtain, the direction, the coordination, the artistry of bringing many moving parts into a single, seamless performance. By the time he was a young man, it was clear he was destined to become a producer, someone who could balance creativity with organization, artistry with pragmatism. Making his mark on Broadway, Jack's career blossomed in New York City, where he quickly became known as a producer who cared deeply about quality. He had an eye for productions that combined innovation with tradition, honoring Broadway's history while pushing it toward the future. Among his many accomplishments, Jack W. Batman co-produced acclaimed revivals of classic musicals, including La Cage aux Folles, which earned a Tony Award for Best Revival of a Musical in 2010. This was a crowning moment in his career, a recognition that cemented his place among Broadway's most respected producers. But beyond the awards, what defined Jack's career was his ability to choose projects that mattered. He had a knack for recognizing stories that would resonate with audiences, stories that carried heart, humor, and humanity. He wasn't chasing trends, he was curating experiences that could stand the test of time. The man behind the curtain. Colleagues and actors who worked with Jack often described him as a man of integrity, kindness, and vision. He wasn't the type of producer who barked orders from afar. He was hands-on, present, and deeply invested in every aspect of a production. He believed theater was a collaborative art form, and he treated everyone, actors, stagehands, designers, and fellow producers, with equal respect. That humility earned him the loyalty and admiration of many in the industry. Beyond Broadway. While Broadway was his main stage, Jack also supported theater off-Broadway and in regional productions. He believed strongly in nurturing new talent, giving young playwrights and performers the chance to shine. Many artists who are successful today point to Jack W. Batman as someone who gave them their first major opportunity. He also served as a mentor for aspiring producers, reminding them that success wasn't just about ticket sales or awards, it was about creating meaningful experiences for audiences. The final curtain. On August 1, 2025, Jack W. Batman passed away in New York City. At 67 years old, his departure left a noticeable void in the Broadway community. Tributes poured in from colleagues, actors, and theater lovers, all of whom recognized not just his professional accomplishments, but also his kindness and generosity. His funeral was a gathering of the theater world, actors, directors, producers, and fans coming together to say goodbye. He was laid to rest at Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, a place where history and art meet. His resting place has since become a quiet spot where admirers can pay their respects, leaving flowers, playbills, and handwritten notes of gratitude. Legacy and remembrance. Jack W. Batman's legacy is not written only in awards or productions, but in the countless memories he helped create. Every time the curtain rises on a Broadway revival he touched, every time a young producer follows in his footsteps, his influence lives on. He showed the world that producing theater is not just about money or fame, it's about passion, vision, and love for the art. He understood that audiences don't just come to the theater to be entertained, they come to be moved, to feel something deeper, to walk away changed. For Jack, every production was a chance to spark that transformation. That's what made him special, and that's why he will be remembered as one of Broadway's most devoted stewards. From now on, August 1st will be a day of remembrance for Jack W. Batman. Each year, the anniversary of his passing will remind the theater world of his contributions, his kindness, and his unwavering belief in the power of live performance. Tonight, as we close this tribute, we remember three extraordinary lives: Jeannie Seely, whose country voice carried soul and truth for more than half a century; David Roach, whose raw energy as Junkyard's frontman gave rock fans an authentic, unapologetic sound; and Jack W. Batman, whose vision and dedication shaped Broadway productions that will continue to inspire for generations. Though they came from different worlds, country, rock, and theater, the thread that bound them together was the same: their love for art, their devotion to their craft, and the way they touched countless lives through their work. We mourn their passing, but we also celebrate the music, the performances, and the stories they left behind. Their voices, their presence, and their legacies will never fade. As you listen, I invite you to take a moment. Close your eyes, remember your favorite song, your favorite performance, or the feeling of being moved by their work. That memory is their gift to you, and it will live forever. If you found comfort or connection in this tribute, please like this video, subscribe to Gone Legends, and share it with others so that together, we can continue honoring the lives of those who shaped our world. And please, in the comments below, tell us, where are you watching from tonight, and which of these legends touched your life the most? Your stories help keep their memories alive. On this day and every day, may we carry forward the spirit of Jeannie Seely, David Roach, and Jack W. Batman. Though they are gone, their legacies shine on in us.